platform. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Just in terms of way of introduction, my name's Tanya Sterling, and I'm one of the club support team covering counties mainly in the east. So I cover Norfolk, Suffolk, Cambridgeshire, Bedfordshire and Oxfordshire. And I'll just pass over to my colleague who's helping deliver the webinar.
Hello, hi.
Okay, we'll just pick up there. So we seem to have a couple of problems with technology. So yeah, just to restart again. So my name's Tanya Sterling. I'm the club support manager, and I'll just pass over to my colleague to introduce.
Hi, I'm Sarah Gardiner. I'm the club support manager for Sussex, Hampshire, Channel Islands, Isle of Man, Isle of Wight. I'm sat in a very sunny outskirts of Portsmouth as we speak. My internet is not particularly great, so bear with me if I disappear for sort of 20 seconds or so. And I've also got two quite noisy dogs, so I'm sure you're all entertaining children, dogs and everything else whilst we do this. But thank you for your time today. We've got lots to share with you. I'll pass back over to Tanya, who'll tell you the sort of content of today, but we'll now turn our cameras off. You don't really need to see us throughout this.
Thanks, Sarah. So, as you know, for today's webinar, we're going to focus on a bit of sharing best practice around how to keep your members running. So, by way of format for this morning, we're going to start off having a brief overview of the current guidance at the moment. Then we'll move on to looking at some of the England Athletics resources and support that are available to clubs to help keep your members running. Some top tips on creating virtual or remote activity. And then a large part of the webinar this morning, we'll be having a look at some club examples of best practice. There's been some really brilliant and innovative ideas that have been used across the country. So really pleased that clubs have sort of shared that with us for us to then pass on to everyone else that's joined the webinar this morning. At the end of the webinar, as I mentioned, we'll then have an open forum. So there'll be the opportunity for you to write in the chat box any ideas which you've introduced in your club to help keep members active. And we'll then have a bit of a forum to share those ideas across everyone that's joined us this morning. So moving on to current guidance, just before we go into the section where we're going to start sharing some ideas around keeping members running, it's important to obviously highlight the current guidance that we have at the moment and the responsibility for us all when we're creating and promoting activities for members. So just as a reminder, the suspension of all athletics activity in England until the 31st of May. It's been mandated that all physical coaching ceases and is only conducted via virtual means during this period. And we'll come on to some really good ideas which clubs have used to virtually communicate with members and set virtual challenges to help keep members active. Bringing groups together to train, however small, can no longer be permitted under the guidelines which we have at the moment. And obviously the guidance at the moment is to stay at home except in exceptional circumstances, but you can go outside to exercise once a day, but that should be alone or with those that you live with. And it's an important reminder for clubs when we are looking at setting up activity virtually that actually these guidelines are promoted to members to ensure that the guidance is being adhered to. The England Athletics guidance very much follows the UK government's guidance. So if there are any changes to UK government guidance, then our guidelines will change accordingly. So the best place to keep updated with this information is on the England Athletics website, where we have a specific page for clubs for any updates in relation to coronavirus. And the link is on that page. As I mentioned, that will be sent out to you all afterwards. So at this point, I will hand over to Sarah, who is then going to take us through some of the England Athletics resources and support which we have available at the moment.
Hi everybody. So hopefully you've seen quite a lot of the information that's been coming out from marketing. There's been lots of emails and updates sent. There's a lot of info, activity and resources on the website to be used at the moment. If you haven't found it yet, if you log on to the England Athletics website, you'll see it straight away on the front page, Athletics at Home. And we've now got a new edition overnight called Running at Home. So every day these resources are growing. Just to give you a quick overview as to what you'll find in there, you'll find details of club support webinars, which is exactly what this is. There's one of these every week on different club topics. There's also a Q&A with one of the senior leadership team once a week. Also, again, you'll see past recordings of those that have happened. There's a large number of coaching webinars that are available for all different disciplines that you can tap into. They've been really, really popular. And again, are run by lots of different coaches that we've got out, coaching leads and people from the coach and athlete development team. You'll find some phonetics videos in there. These are free, fun activities for 4 to 11-year-olds, which parents can do at home and develops the run, jump, throws skills that little ones should be working on at that age. You'll also find Athletics 365. There's free handbooks for supporting the slightly older children, the 11 years upwards. There's also a free coaches bundle that you can access for Athletics 365 extra large. All of these things usually have a charge attached to, so everything now is completely open to you for free, which is great. Club resources, there's lots of information in there for anybody that is looking at doing some club development work at the moment. There's key areas such as governance, coaching, welfare, marketing, all sorts of different areas that you may want to look at in this quiet time as to how you can perhaps, rewrite some policies or look at some minimum standards for the running of your club. There's a section around digital connectivity. This is a great resource for people like me that aren't particularly IT savvy. It talks about the different platforms that you can use, things like Zoom and House Party and all of those sort of things, and how you could obviously use those within your club to keep your members connected. There's lots of information in there about how to look after your mental health and how to look after the mental health of others. We've also launched a couple of days ago a weekly virtual challenge by the fabulous Jenny Meadows. This week you may have seen the video already, which is involving loo rolls and bear crawls around over your garden. And not even on the slide, it's that new. Overnight, there's been a new officials at home section added, which is obviously for our very important officials that we've got out there, which is going to be another series of different webinars, all sorts of different topics and some information on there about gaining qualifications and everything else. So lots and lots on there. And please take the time, when you have some time, to obviously have a look at what's in there. So hopefully you'll find that that's a useful resource for you. So quickly sort of going on to sort of top tips about how to engage your runners at the moment. There's been, like Tanya said, lots and lots of great ideas coming through. There's a sharing section on the EA website, which you might want to have a look at, where loads of clubs are posting in their ideas. There's been some really good ideas from clubs about keeping the mental health aspect alive within your club, not just around running, how to keep people busy, how to look after people that may not be running, but may be injured or may have lost their mojo. Not everybody's out there, are they, doing miles and miles each day? So again, it's looking at a wider range of activities to keep your members busy. We've got obviously social media that we're using. We've obviously got all the other forms of communication that we've just quickly talked about, which you can see in the digital connectivity section of the resource. Loads of information out there, as we know. The Sport England site, Stay In Workout, is a really good resource which leads you to different workouts, different type of training. So again, we really advise have a look in there if you've got some time. Some clubs also are thinking about new members at this time. So there's obviously a boom in people starting running. Some clubs are introducing themselves virtually to new members and talking about what they can do for the members when obviously we can meet face to face. So again, it might be a time where your membership might boom, which is obviously great. So there's lots of good stuff, obviously, about best practice. Tanya's talked about the government guidelines. We're obviously keeping our eyes on that going. Hopefully that doesn't change. Hopefully that stays as it is. There's a great document about coaching virtually on the UKA website, which we can give you the link to if you want. Some clubs have written a policy around their coaches coaching virtually in the club. So again, different clubs are kind of promoting, obviously, the safety aspect of this. I will just put on a quick video, which is a a Blackheath and Bromley AC video that was done in connection with Petswood Runners in Kent, and I think it's really, really good, and it just highlights some of the key messages that you may want to make sure your members are adhering to.
One, run either alone or with another member of your household only. 2, choose a distance that you can manage comfortably. And remember, if you suffer an injury whilst out running, your only option for getting home may be to walk. 3, choose a route beginning and ending at your home with wide paths and sufficient space to allow you to keep clear of other people. Avoid narrow paths and alleyways that do not allow for social distancing should you encounter another person.
Cool, see you later.
4, take your mobile phone so you can contact home if you get into difficulty. 5, when encountering people who are walking, running at a slower pace, walking their dogs, or queuing, take responsibility for keeping your distance as you are most likely to be the person physically able to do so. If necessary, slow down or stop until you can pass at a safe distance.
Oh, thank you.
6, maintain a distance of at least 2 metres from any person you may encounter. 7, when running along the roads, stay on the pavement. Where possible, use the right-hand side so that you are facing oncoming traffic. Only divert onto the road when there's no other option and you have checked it is safe to do so. 8, it is important to maintain a high level of awareness of your surroundings, so it is recommended to leave your music and headphones at home. 9, be aware that some members of the public may feel particularly anxious about seeing runners approaching, especially if they're breathing noisily and obviously sweating. So finally, run alone or with another member of your household only. Choose a comfortable distance, plan a route with wide paths, take your mobile, pass others at a safe distance, always maintain a 2-metre distance, stay on the pavement, leave music at home and remain courteous. Yes.
So, light-hearted messages there from Blackheath and Bromley. Thank you for letting us use that. It's a really good resource. So, keeping your members running. So, we're all doing lots of great stuff, as we've said. So, we're gonna give you some sort of little bit more detail around what some clubs are doing after this slide. But as you know, there's lots of clubs out there doing their challenges, doing weekly challenges, doing Strava art. I saw Seaford Striders yesterday had delivered the word hope as a Strava art message, which was great. Some people are organising hill challenges in their house, climbing Snowdon, how many flights of stairs. We've got techniques in coaches' corners. We've got coaches talking about overtraining. We've got physios coming in at some clubs to present issues around when you get niggles and how you should be best treating those. We've got things like club photo competitions where people are out and about. They may be taking photos of themselves and landmarks or pictures of their dogs. Some clubs are talking about making it a fundraiser for next year. The lockdown calendar, perhaps raising money. So again, lots and lots of great things coming out. People are relaying jigsaws between them, having sanitized them, board games, sharing different things amongst the neighborhood. Zwift Virtual Run is something that Lonely Goat is using to promote some organized runs at a pace. You do need a treadmill and you do need a run pod, which you can buy from the Lonely Goat site. But again, that's certain runs at a certain pace, certain distance, certain time. So again, it's bringing people together as little avatars and running around a virtual world. So I will now hand you over to Tanya, who's going to give you a little bit more information about our first case study.
Thanks, Sarah. So for the next couple of slides, what we're going to do is have a look in a bit more detail around some of the activities which have been shared with us through our social media streams. It's been really inspiring to see some of the excellent ideas that have been used by clubs and really using those to form a real online community amongst members. So we'll start off with the first example which we've got, which is Chapel Allerton runners, who have set up their own bingo activity for club members. So this has been promoted through their social media streams, and they've got a bingo chart which has a number of key challenges and workouts for members to complete. Now, each of those members can only complete one a day, so conforming with the regulations to go out for that one form of exercise each day. And it includes tasks such as a fancy dress run, running in club colours, an interval session, Strava art, and members are communicating and posting pictures through social media as they achieve each of the activities on the bingo list. So quite an innovative and fun idea to help keep members engaged and communicating with each other through the social media platforms which they have. The next example, which we have in the middle of the page there, is Thorney 10K. So Thorney Running Club unfortunately had to cancel their Keith Hall Memorial 10K run. To help combat isolation and maintain a sense of community amongst club members, they decided to hold a 10K race virtually. So members ran their own personal 10K route from their doorstep, or a 3K route for junior members, and they ran that on some point of what would have been race day. The club used email and Facebook to communicate with members, so recognising that not all members within a club may use Facebook and some of the other social media streams, so thinking about some other avenues to communicate with members. Once members had completed the run, they were sending evidence, whether it be a picture or Garmin statistics, to the club organiser, and a virtual medal was then sent out to each of the members that had completed the race. And again, sharing their own stories on Facebook, and a club collage, which you can see in the middle there, of each of the members that completed the 10K virtual race. So a real success story for the club in terms of turning an event around to still go ahead virtually within a relatively short space of time. The third example which we've got there is from Little Down Harriers. So the club here have helped keep members motivated through various lockdown challenges. One of these challenges has included a virtual run to reach Tania, which is Bournemouth's twin city in Israel. So members have been logging their runs on Facebook and the distance on there, and a cumulative total for the distance club members have ran has been logged each day, so the club can see how far they are in reaching their twin town. So another great idea in helping keep members motivated, and again that online sense of community seems to have been really good through social media, so a great idea from that club as well. A couple more examples we have here. So Riston Runners have been hosting some Facebook live sessions. The club have been hosting these on their usual club training evenings, so trying to help keep that sense of routine amongst members. So on these sessions, they've hosted the live Facebook sessions, focusing predominantly around strength and conditioning for runners and athletes at the club. So these are workouts that people can do at home, and are then uploaded also onto YouTube. So anyone that can't attend that session on that evening, to log in to attend, should I say, can then go onto YouTube to access the session and complete that at a time when they are able to do so. So another great idea, and really trying to keep that sense of routine for members of the club. In the middle of the page here, we've got another excellent example from East Cheshire Harriers. So they've had some brilliant success in setting daily challenges for members, and the engagement on social media for this in particular has been really, really good. So members have been adding photos, videos of them completing their own challenges at home. So the example we've got there is a squat challenge, but they've really varied from different agility, balance activities, really just trying to keep members engaged and working on some of those conditioning skills to help them with their running. And finally, on that page, we've got a brilliant example of Strava art. So East Hull Harriers have set a challenge for their members to try and complete the club emblem or club logo through Strava. The example there is a particularly good one. So we've even got the outline of the club logo, which is brilliant. But I think more than anything, that sense of community and getting people involved and interacting online has been really, really successful. So well done to all of the clubs, and thank you for sharing those through our social media streams. We'll now move on to look at a couple of other club examples in a little more detail. So the first example we have here is from Rushcliffe Athletics Club. So they quickly adapted their club activity by moving to post virtual training activities to replace their usual club sessions. Following on from that, there was some really good uptake and positive feedback from members, and the concept was developed for a virtual relay with the idea of having a virtual baton that's passed through cyberspace. The uptake from members in the club was really, really positive. The concept has two teams, an odd team and even team, and your birthday dictates which team you will be in. So if you're a 20th of March birthday, you'll be on the evens team. And the club provide regular updates on the odds and evens to see how each of those teams are progressing. So it was launched on Facebook to engage with members, and the relays are less about performance in terms of distance covered and more about entertainment, fun, and keeping people engaged and communicating with people online through their social media platforms. As a basic overview, so the captain will nominate one runner a day through either Facebook or email. Each runner then runs for 19 minutes and records their overall distance. The fun part of the relay, so each runner must carry a baton, and it's really being promoted as the sillier or funnier, the better. So we've had some excellent examples. So I think we've got a French stick in the picture there. So we've had some runners out with some very creative ideas for relay batons. And then posting a photo on Facebook. So again, bringing people together online to share those routes that they've ran. And then each club, or each team rather, can play their joker, and that runner will get a double distance added to the score. And the winner at the end will obviously be the team with the most distance covered, but the real emphasis being on having fun as a club and keeping people engaged online. The success has been really, really positive. So 100 members signed up within a day to take part in the virtual relay. There's been lots of social media interaction, which has been really positive. And 4 other clubs in the local area have already introduced the virtual relay concept, which Rushcliffe have developed. So a real success story for the club, and brilliant to see that they're sharing that with other clubs in the local area as well. Following on from the success of the virtual relay, the club have also now set a club championship activity where there are competition activities which can be performed at home, and a league table set up to score those things. So at the moment, the first activity has been the plank. So they've been timing how long members are completing the plank for, and then keeping a record. So there's the opportunity for activities at home for those who may be self-isolating or at home, as well as for the virtual relay concept for the one form of exercise a day where people could go out running. So thank you very much to Rushcliffe for sharing that example and photos with us. Next club, another really brilliant example, is St Teresa's AC. So the idea was to develop a range of activities that members could do to help keep them fit and healthy during this time, as well as ensuring to maintain that sense of community and ethos within the club. So as you'll see on this page, there's a range of activities which the club have put on offer. So from things like a running session being provided each week for members to complete individually, and making sure again that those sessions are set in a way that members can complete them by going straight out from their door to complete that activity. Weekly challenges have been set, so there's generally two challenges set each week for members to take part in, and league tables have been set up for those. On the left-hand side of the page there, you'll see some of the activities and challenges that have been set, so things like fastest mile in a garden, most elevation in a week, again, best Strava art, which has been popular amongst several clubs, best picture taken while exercising, and also for the junior members as well, completing the 1 mile garden run, and a certificate has been awarded to members that have completed that in the junior section of the club, which is a great idea. Hill challenges have also been set in the local area. Also self-isolation activities. So again, providing that option of activities where people can take part in things at home, and giving ideas for home workouts and activities which you could do as a family to help keep fit at home. And lastly on the page here, we have the St Teresa's AC Rocks Relay, which is a new concept which has been introduced in the club and sounds a brilliant idea. So on the left-hand side of the page there, you'll see 2 rocks in club colours. The concept that's been developed is to get those rocks to take a journey around the club and club members. And it's an intra-club race to see which rock goes on the biggest journey within the club. The concept being that a member will run with the rock and leave it at the end of a garden of another member from the club. and trying to take that on a journey, take photos within the run, and try to really see the route which each of those rocks can follow. So a good way to keep members communicating with one another, and taking those on a route, and through social media really looking at engaging with each other and taking photos from the routes which they've been on. In terms of this activity, the club have really stressed the importance of giving guidance to members in terms of the current guidelines, so being quite clear that the rocks should be left at the end of the garden, not passed from one person to another, and they've also been coated so they can be wiped down, antibacterial wipes to avoid any sort of cross-contamination. So the club have been very clear in the guidance for members, which is really good as well. So some brilliant examples there from the club, and I think in particular here we've got a real range of activities which hopefully helps to keep the full membership of the club engaged in some way. Once the club are back to training later in the year, they'll also be holding some club awards for each of the activities which they've hosted during this time. So again, thank you ever so much to the club for sharing that experience, and the success which everyone has had at the club so far. So a slightly different idea this time. So Whittam Running Club have organised a social distancing club championship. The idea came from a competition in America where they ran a series of events from 5K up to marathon. And the club have taken this concept and adapted it to suit their membership. So in this series, there's 4 events which take place. And this goes from 1 mile, 3K, 5K and 5 miles. The club chose this distance because it was felt that people could engage with this and all club members could take part in this activity. So rather than having longer distance, which may exclude some of the membership, actually all members could take part in the championship. At the end of the championship, there'll be age grading applied to the results. And over the 4 weeks, there's been some really good engagement in the first sort of activities which have been organised. So the first run, members were asked to wear their club kit for the first 5 kilometre run that took place and take selfies. And the picture on the left there shows a number of the members who took part in that first run in the series. The club have introduced some special awards. So they've got the Sparrows First Award and Night Owl Award, which are given to the earliest runner during the day and the latest runner during the day. And also the Working Hard Award, which the club pick out the most impressive route of the day. So one member that won this award ran 150 metre out and backs, which is an absolutely brilliant effort. So I think recognising a number of members in the club through different awards has really been a success story. The club have done really well in promoting what they're doing to help keep members of the community engaged in activity at this time, and they've publicised the event and sent in reports to the local press in terms of what they're doing at the moment around the social distancing championships. 67 runners took part in the first 5K, which is a real achievement. So that's actually higher than they've had in some of the 5K races they've held at the club. So a real good success story in terms of getting members engaged in taking part in races linked to the club. So well done to everyone at the club involved in that. Alongside the social distancing championship, they've also held a number of other activities. So we've had a photography competition where members have taken photos whilst out on their run, and that's taken the theme of nature. A weekly interval session for members to perform in their own time. And a virtual quiz night is also planned for over this Easter weekend. So hopefully something which all members of the club could get involved in. So some really excellent examples from the club there, and a great way to keep members engaged and taking part in physical activity. So at this point, I will pass you over to Sarah, who's going to take us through a couple more examples of great ideas which clubs have shared with us.
Okay, so moving to Suffolk, Haverhill Running Club, they have climbed Mount Everest. They, between them, have covered 30,109 feet with doing some hill training. Again, sticking to the government guidelines, but you'll see the picture down the bottom is of Carl, who timed his run perfectly so that he took the team over the peak. They're also doing a distance challenge where they're running to Fort William from their base in Suffolk. They're going to see how long that takes them, and again stipulating just one run a day per member. They're doing some really good strength and conditioning videos, which you can see on their Facebook page. Again, looking at involving the family and doing more at the home base. And thanks, Nina, for your comment about Rushcliffe and about how you're doing stuff for the little ones as well. That was great, thank you. Landmarks Run. There was a lot of the members that were going to do the London Landmarks 10K, which obviously was cancelled. So they came up with their own landmarks. And again, making sure not everybody was running the same route at the same time to get to the same landmark. They then sort of came up with what landmarks have we got? How can we make it fun? And again, lots of pictures and, ideas for a calendar and all of that kind of stuff. And the remote training. So they're doing their usual Tuesday training sessions, which are posted on Facebook. And again, giving people, ideas about what they can do. I've seen loads of good stuff. Some of the other coaching webinars, certainly for endurance, again, are giving you some really good examples of what you can do with just 30 minutes and how you can break it down into fartleks and, and stuff that we normally do. But with also quite a nice message of, you can relax it a little bit now. There was a great one by Tom Craggs last week, which again, you can pick up from the menu if you want to have a look at that. And it was all about just, let's enjoy our running, let's set ourselves some challenges, but let's make it fun as well. So that was quite a nice message that came from that webinar. But yeah, some great stuff happening at Haverhill, but I certainly myself don't like the sound of the hill challenge. We will now move on to Mole Valley. So Mole Valley runners, they were set up in November 2016, and they've now got over 700 members. They've grown so quickly. They're a great business model. They've used lots of grants, lots of local business support, which has helped them to grow to the size they are. And they've got over 16 run leaders and coaches now. Their motto is that they encourage activity based on adventure, the environment, togetherness, and supporting each other's well-being. They are doing so much. And again, if you look at their Facebook page, you'll feel quite lazy straight away with the amount of activity that they're doing. One of the things I really like, they're doing a daily wheel of doom, where they've got a spinning wheel with different exercises on and different challenges on. And I saw a picture, I think it was the club secretary dressed as a fairy with a magic wand who was spinning the wheel. They've got lots of other things going on apart from just the running. So they've got movie quizzes, they're out singing, they're doing poems in different locations, they're doing the garden work, they're doing fancy dress. They've got their own virtual quiz about the club soon. And I think I read that they were offering prizes and things like that. So again, there's so much going on. It's almost a case of putting it in your diary for all the different activities that they've got going on. Again, they're fundraising. This slide's a couple of days old, so I'm sure it's a higher amount than the 1,100 so far, but that's their local hospital in Surrey. And there's a really nice quote there that I thought we'd include from one of the members, saying Mole Valley runners have done an amazing job keeping people motivated during this difficult time. The daily wheel of doom never fails to make me laugh, and it's a great motivation to see everyone's posts and videos. A couple of quizzes have helped to keep this light-hearted. I feel proud that we're raising money for our local hospital too. Is there anybody on the call from Mole Valley? If there is, just say hi. And if there's anything else you want to share about the stuff that you're doing, again, please let us know. And I will finish off with the last info, which is down in Dorset, down in Poole. So Poole runners had to cancel, unfortunately, the Poole Festival of Running, which they run every year, and that raises over £12,000 for the local hospital. Colin was due to run the Manchester Marathon on the 5th of April, which obviously he couldn't do. So he came up with the mad idea of running the marathon in his garden, which he worked out was going to be 550 laps. The idea grew, and there was over 100 people that took part in that day. And there was a few people running marathons, there was a few running half marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks, 3 laps of the garden. There was kids doing trampoline bounce-a-thons for 20 minutes. Anything that people wanted to do that they could do in their garden, their house or their balcony was part of this activity. They had other clubs involved, Purbeck runners were involved, People outside of the club, non-members were getting involved. Even Ride Harriers across on the Isle of Wight, they were raising money for St Mary's Hospital in Newport. Again, I'm sure it's more money, but a couple of days ago they'd raised over £10,000 from that garden activity, which was 450 donations, some of them really large. So it's you know, it's an amazing achievement from the club. Club are also doing they did some print at home medals, and they did a live Facebook feed on the day and commentary and all that kind of stuff. Club also are doing they're using Zoom to deliver their weekly club updates. So anything that anybody would like to, you know, that they think they should be shared, you know, such as some of the EA activity, club announcements, coaches training tips, club get-togethers. So they all come together on a Wednesday evening and use Zoom to have a virtual club meeting, which is great. They're doing virtual bake-offs, they're doing a virtual curry evening, virtual quiz, virtual 5Ks. So yeah, loads and loads and loads of stuff. But I just thought that was a really nice one with the amount of different activities that they'd encouraged, obviously a wide range of members, non-members, juniors to get involved in raising obviously a huge amount of money. Is there anybody from Pool Runners on the call? If there is, again, let us know. Oh, so we've got Sarah, 10,834 plus gift aid. Wow, that's superb. Thank you very much. So that's 40 minutes in. That's the end of everything that we had to share with you. And again, we couldn't talk about everything that every club's doing. There is so much out there and there's so much information that's being shared. Hopefully it's given you some ideas as to things that you can do in your club. Just going to give you a couple of minutes if you want to type anything in the comments box around anything that your club's doing that you want to share. We can then cover those. But just like to point out that Tanya and I, we're not expert presenters. This suddenly writing webinars and deliver them is a bit of a challenge. So hopefully we've not been too boring for you, and hopefully we've shared some good ideas. I've just got to give you a survey to complete. That's the very, very final thing after we've taken any questions or any sharing. And then once you complete the survey, which will take you about 3 clicks, you're then free to leave. And we're doing this again at 6 o'clock. It's the same content. And again, any of your ideas that you're chatting through, we'll happily include those at the 6 o'clock one. You will get the slides. Yeah, it's all been recorded. So you'll get the slides, you'll get all the comments, and they will be posted onto the club webinar page on the England Athletics site. I will just click the link for you just in case you haven't got it. I'll put that on in a second. And also, if you've got any questions or you need any help on a club level, please contact your club support manager. On the England Athletics website, if you go into club support services, you'll see club support team, and you'll see there's 12 of us motley crew that cover England. Contact details, telephone number and an email address of whoever works locally to you. You can contact them. We're all working still at the moment. So if you have any concerns, any questions, anything you want to raise, anything you need help with, we're here to help you do that at the moment. There will be more resources coming out, so please just keep your eye on the communication that comes out from EA. Keep your eye on the website. Like I said, there's stuff coming out as we speak for officials. I know that there's going to be some more interactive videos coming out for junior training very soon that's being worked on as we speak. So we're trying to do whatever we can in this difficult time to obviously give you some resources, give you some ideas, and obviously give you some support. So I'll just go to see if anybody wants to share anything. London Frontrunners does a Zoom stair challenge on a Saturday morning. Those members who take part take a photo with the club vest on, and their step numbers are posted in the week's bulletin. Wow, gosh. I'll put or Tanya will be able to do it for me. Our contact details or club support managers. Tell you what, if I click on the Facebook I'll click on the club support link and put that in, then you can see who your club support managers are. Thank you for your feedback, everybody. Lots of ideas. How does the runner bingo work? I tell you what,
I just come onto that one, Sarah,
to Tanya, because she's got the info on that, and I'll post the links for the club support while I do that.
Sure, thanks, Sarah. So in terms of the runners bingo, there's a series of perhaps 12 ideas, I think, which Chapel Allerton used, which were put onto a chart and then put onto their Facebook group and really just communicated out to members. And then the members could complete one of those activities each day and then cross that off and keep other members in the club posted through social media on how they were doing in terms of completing their bingo chart. So really mainly communicating through Facebook in terms of showing what had been achieved so far, but just coming up with a creative list of ideas which could be introduced. So as I mentioned, there were things such as a fancy dress run, running in club kit. It could be a hill rep run, interval session. So just putting some of those session ideas which people can do from their own doorstep and within the guidelines, and then members can check them off the list and let people know within the club how they're doing through social media. So I hope that helps, Laura. We'll just have a look to see if there are any other ideas in the chat box.
I'm just looking for the rainbow idea. What's the rainbow? A simple idea shared by Helen, thank you. I'm doing rainbow running, where I found running shirts for each colour of the rainbow, and I'm wearing each one and going out each day for a week. I post pics and now other club members are doing it. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. Thank you for that. So I can just see 3 people are typing, so we'll just see what's rainbow running, lovely. Another thing on the rock collection, actually, a club local to me are painting them. We live on the beach, we're lucky, and so people are now collecting rocks from the beach and painting motivational messages on them, or thank you, or miss you, and leaving at friends' houses with a wet wipe. And so that's quite nice. Sometimes people are opening their doors and finding that they've got a pebble of hope, I think it's called, which is quite nice. Great. We did our Zoom strengthening and conditioning session for Ilkley Harriers juniors last night. Wow. Yeah, the video's good, isn't it? Yeah, and thank you for the person pointing out it was on YouTube. So yeah, we can obviously use that. Yeah, sorry for those that couldn't hear. We do realise that there's a bit of issues with people's systems and operating systems and things. Yeah, so hopefully you can hear them on the recording. But if not, again, please feel free to contact me or Tanya if there's anything you want to, chat through. We've been doing a Facebook Live warm up with a leader, then heading off on our separate runs. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, thank you, Amy. Yeah, and again, it's important, isn't it? We know the importance of cool downs and warm ups, but how many people are doing those as we speak? Again, let's be mindful of promoting that to our members and avoiding any injuries that people are going to pick up. Any recommendation from Amy? Any recommendations to get more engagement with these kind of activities? We're a smaller club and sometimes struggle to get these sort of ideas to take off. Is there anybody on the chat that's from a smaller club that's got similar issues? I mean, what you could do, Amy, is you could put a poll out to your members asking them what they'd like to do, or put some suggestions forward and see what the engagement is. Make them run daft rather than competitive, like that, Graham. Yeah. And again, it's keeping the ethos of your club, isn't it? If your club, like Mole Valley Runners, are very much around participation and having fun, then that's what they'll be doing now, you know. Okay, just got a couple of other people typing, and then we will wrap up. Rope a few more people in to volunteer to set up the challenges, says Jane. The more people initiating the challenges, the wider the reach. Yeah, great. Thank you, Jane. Great point. Stopwatch Run from Sarah. Yeah, like the poll idea. Yeah. Run for 30 minutes without looking at watch and guess when to stop. Yeah. Otherwise known as a naked run, but you might not want to advertise it as that in case people take it literally. Yeah, include your siblings, parents, friends. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a nice one to wrap up on, as Tina said there. If you just get one person remaining active, it's working, and just keep persevering. Yeah, and great. Yeah, thank you, Jason. We gave people several days to take part in each race to make sure, you know, there's a lot of people working still, a lot of people working long hours, hard hours. Okay, well, I think we'll wrap up there, everybody. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention. We will have this recorded and it will be linked onto the page. You've got our contact details via that link that I've sent, or just you'll find all the resources and our contact details through the England Athletics website. But yeah, stay safe and keep running and get in touch if we can help you with anything. I will now activate the survey. So